Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webcast on intelligent insights into API security. My name is Manoj Gunti, and I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Apigee at Google. Before we begin the webcast, I wanted to take just a couple of minutes to cover some housekeeping items. What you see on your slide should resemble the webcast console. And at the bottom left corner, you will see a Q&A console where you can post your questions. Please note that you don't have to wait until the end of this webcast to post your questions. Please feel free to post them at any time during the webcast, and we will take 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the webcast to go through them. Next to the Q&A console is the resources section. I will be making a lot of references to some of the resources during this webcast, and links to all those resources will be available in the resources console for your reference. So let's get started. We will begin this webcast by talking a little bit about the evolution of APIs and how APIs have evolved from being agents of access to powering digital transformation efforts for several enterprises. And we will learn what this means for operations teams in terms of added pressure and some of the challenges. And we will be introducing you today to Apigee's brand new feature called API Security Reporting. We will learn about the key components of this feature, and we will also do a deep dive demo into the functionality. So Apigee has been traveling with several customers along their digital journey. And over a period of time, we have seen APIs evolving their role within an enterprise IT systems. If we take some of our customers, for example, Equifax, they have significantly accelerated the time to market of the new products and services by leveraging APIs and API programs. Their partner onboarding time has significantly reduced with the effective use of API programs. And several companies have built vast ecosystems of developers and partners using API programs. Ticketmaster, for example, is today selling tickets not only through their own portal, but also they are leveraging their partners using APIs to sell their tickets and improve the overall fan experience. And digital companies, for example, AccuWeather, who has been a customer of Apigee for a long period of time, has actually opened up a new revenue stream using APIs. Today, they are exposing key weather data through APIs to external developers, not only through a developer portal, but also through third-party marketplaces. And they are also making those APIs available for businesses to embed them into their business applications. And all this is happening through API programs, and this has helped them unlock new revenue streams and open up new markets for them. So as APIs are powering innovation across these segments, what does this mean for operations teams? As you continue to power your business-critical applications and services with APIs, there is an increasing pressure on operations teams to stay on top of them, especially from a security perspective. So some of the challenges that they face today are to gain complete visibility into the security attributes of the APIs, to ensure that whatever developers are building are compliant with the industry and organization's compliance requirements. They also want to make sure that whenever there is an incident, they want to know about that incident, even if it impacts their business. And if at all there is an incident and that is impacting, they want to be able to very quickly diagnose and identify the root cause of the issue so that they can take the most appropriate remedial actions and resolve the issues as fast as possible. On the other hand, what is also happening is, as you build and scale your API programs, there is a gold mine of API data that is being collected on the backend. Right? And API management platforms like Apigee have a great opportunity to leverage this data to actually help customers, one, improve the availability and performance of the APIs, and number two, to also ensure that the APIs are secure and meet the compliance requirements. So across the entire value chain, all the way from your target backend to front-end consumers, there is this large amount of metadata that Apigee is also collecting at the backend. So if you look at the Apigee API management platform today, it is Google Cloud's comprehensive full lifecycle API management platform, which includes a runtime layer, a mediation engine, API analytics, and also provides you a developer portal and monetization capability. But the way we are leveraging the API data today is by providing three different kind of metrics for three different personas. For somebody like a product manager, we provide developer engagement metrics. And for a business persona, we are looking at business metrics such as revenue generation, etc. And for an operations persona, today we have a deeply integrated monitoring capability. What we are introducing today is API security reporting, which is a new added functionality, which is also leveraging the same API data. What we have seen in most of our customers is that depending on the size of the customer, depending on the nature of their business, they have either an ops person looking into the security attributes, or there is a SecOps person dedicatedly looking at the security attributes. So this feature essentially targets both the current IT admin or ops persona and also the SecOps persona. So let's learn a little bit about this new feature that we just added. What is API security reporting? It provides deep insights for operations teams to basically do three very important things. One is to ensure that all the APIs that are being developed by the development teams are adhering to the security and compliance requirements. Number two is to ensure that the sensitive data within the organization is not abused by internal or external users. And number three is when there is an incident, it provides you the capabilities to quickly identify and diagnose the root cause and quickly take remedial actions to solve it. Let's get into each of these functionalities in detail. Security compliance is essentially a functionality that addresses the design time governance of the product. It is about ensuring that developers, who are the core power users of our platform, are building APIs that incorporate all the policies required by the compliance teams. In many cases, we have seen customers who think that the APIs that are being built are by default adhering to all the policies. But only when something breaks, they actually realize that that's not really happening on the field, right? And with this feature, users can quickly identify proxies that do not adhere to traffic, security, and extension policy requirements. And users will also be able to very quickly review what are the shared flow configurations and revisions for each of those proxies. And you can also analyze which virtual hosts and ports are open to receiving secure traffic as compared to unsecured traffic. As we discussed earlier, several enterprises are today powering business-critical applications through APIs. So there is a lot of sensitive data that gets actually involved in these APIs. For example, developer information, trace sessions, API keys. All of these are attributes that are vulnerable to abuse from internal and external users. So with this new feature, users can very closely monitor who within your organization is actually accessing this sensitive information. And if there are any anomalies in that access patterns, you can discover or detect those suspicious behavior. Apigee, by default, also provides ways for you to extract information outside of the platform through management APIs. And it becomes extremely critical for the operations teams to make sure to monitor those users who are actually extracting this data out of the platform. So on top of all the logging capabilities that Apigee offers today, data protection is one additional feature that helps you to look at all the user activity that is happening inside your org. And the third capability that we brought up is precision diagnosis. Precision diagnosis essentially addresses the runtime governance piece of the security. It gives users insights into what percentage of traffic is secured versus non-secured, and When there is a security incident, you can quickly analyze which apps are causing those security incidents and which backend targets are actually getting affected because of that. You can also identify anomalies in traffic patterns, identify the root causes for those anomalies, and basically take the most appropriate remedial actions to solve this. What is happening with this capability is that a lot of operations teams find it very useful in terms of reducing their overall mean time to diagnose an issue and also the mean time to take remedial actions. So with that, let's just take a quick break from the slides and actually go into the product and take a quick demo of this. So this is the Apigee API console, and if you go to the Analyze section on the left menu, just below the API monitoring, which we launched last year, there is API security reporting. This is the new feature. Go to the overview page. So there is a functionality for users to actually look at this from 4 different timelines. You can look at the last 1 hour, last 1 day, 7 days, and even 30 days. So let's look at the last 7 days data. So what you see at the first glance is the northbound traffic. This is the traffic that is coming into the Apigee API platform, and you can see across different environments what are the number of proxies that are deployed. What you see here as active proxies are the proxies that are actually receiving traffic, and 16 is essentially the number of proxies that have been deployed. And against each of these environments, you can see the amount of traffic that is coming in and what is the percentage change. So if you kind of predict that this kind of change that you see in this environment is something very alarming or it is uncommon, then you can quickly look at the runtime reports and see what's actually happening there. We will see that just in about a minute. You will also see the traffic per region. This is especially useful for customers who have proxies deployed across several regions, and when there is traffic coming from various regions. And when there is a security incident, it will be very easy for the ops person to look at the abnormalities in a specific region and quickly drill down into that region and see what exactly is happening over there. And if you have logged into this platform as an org admin, what you will also see is user activity. And by the way, this feature is available only for the org admins. You can quickly see who are the users that are accessing the platform. And this is for the time window that we selected here, which is 7 days. You will see the number of UI pings, and you will see the number of API usage, and also see the change in the activity and what is the sensitive operations that they are accessing. Let's learn a little bit about user activity. So again, I come to user activity. I'm selecting the last 7 days data. So what you see here is a list of all the users within this particular org, which is selected, who have been accessing the org for the last 7 days. And you can see at the number of logins, number of UI operations, and APIs is essentially the management API that have been accessed by users over this period of time. And when there is a change in activity, you can see the abnormalities here. And this is where exactly you will see the sensitive operations of the user. So what is sensitive operations? The way we have defined sensitive operations is when a user is accessing information that contains either developer information, app information, virtual host, trace sessions, or custom reports. And let's say if there is one particular user who has accessed a lot of sensitive data, and if you feel that this user is not supposed to be accessing that, you can very quickly contact that user and take the most appropriate action. What we also have here is the compliance piece. This is the design time governance aspect that I was talking about earlier. So here, the first thing that you can do is look at the various environments and select the right environment that you want to look in. And then you will see the list of all the proxies as well as their relevant revision number against that. And what you also see here is the number of policies that have been configured for each of these proxies. These policies include traffic policy, security policy, as well as extension policy. What you will also see is the number of shared flows that are configured for each of the proxies. And you will also be able to see whether this particular proxy has been receiving secure traffic HTTPS versus unsecure traffic on non-HTTPS. And let's click on one of these and see what additional information you can see here. So when you click on this, on the right-hand panel, you will also see the details of the policies that have been configured against this policy. On the shared flows, you will basically see the list of all the shared flows that have been configured. And when you select a shared flow, you will also see the policies that are configured against this particular shared flow. And what we also have here is the target view. And target view essentially will give you information about that particular, whether they receive secure traffic versus non-secure traffic. In several cases, we have also seen that customers have realized that some of the targets have been configured to receive non-HTTPS traffic. And after using this feature in alpha, they kind of very quickly were able to change the configurations to ensure that it receives only the secure traffic. And the third component that I want to talk about is runtime. This is the runtime governance aspect. And just like compliance, you can also select the environment that you want to look at. You can change the timeline here. And you can also select regions if you have multi-regions and look at the traffic that is flowing into each of these proxies. So what you see here is the traffic over this selected period of time and the percentage change and what percentage is HTTPS versus non-HTTPS. You will also be able to quickly see what are the apps that are accessing this proxy and if there is any abnormality. So let's take a situation and understand this a little better. If there is a high percentage change in the traffic that is coming to a particular proxy, and I as an ops person or a SecOps person, I understand that this is something that is not supposed to happen and that is coming mostly from a non-secure port, then I will be very quickly able to understand which app is causing that traffic. And once I know that, I'll be able to take the most remedial actions. And to mitigate the damage that is happening, I can also look at which target is actually being affected because of that abnormality. So this kind of significantly reduces the overall time to understand what is going wrong with that particular proxy and take the most remedial action. So that is all about the new security reporting feature that we launched. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And if you are not an Apigee Edge customer, please do download the free trial and start using this. Thank you so much for joining us and have a nice rest of your day.